Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise! I hope you guys are ready. It is playoff time.
After all the hours, the weeks, the months, it's time. The journey to the grand finals rolls on.
I'm going all the way. I'm going, yeah, my blood is rebel. I'm going all the way. I'm going to another level.
Oh, what is this?
That is brutal.
This guy is an absolute maniac.
This is absolutely insane. And the rock stars of the Overwatch League continue to crank out power chords.
Oh, snipe. You got rocked.
It's the playoffs, baby. So strap in as only the best of the best remain.
I'm going all the way. I'm going, yeah, my blood is rebel.
We know it won't be easy to hold that trophy, to wear that crown, but if you want it, come and get it.
Hey, what's up, Overwatch fans? That's right, from the Blizzard Arena here in Los Angeles, California. It's the first day of the lower bracket here in the Overwatch League playoffs, presented by Xfinity Doha and Monte Cristo here to kick things off, because today, two teams are going home.
I know, that's where it gets exciting, right?
Yeah.
And it will be really interesting, of course. Later, our defending champions are going to have that chance to exit the bracket, the London Spitfire. But up first, we've got the Hangzhou Spark and the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, should be a really interesting one, actually, because both of these teams are teams that, you know, have had their struggles, but have yet had their moments of greatness as well throughout the season. And I think Seoul's coming in a little bit hotter today than Spark is based on their last matches. But, you know, if we've learned anything from these playoffs, is that it is impossible to predict any of this. Look at that shock in the lower bracket to begin with. What are they doing there?
It's a bit of a surprise, Doha. They are the favorites for the title coming into the playoffs right now. Get dumped out into the lower bracket during the quarterfinals, and now they're going to have to play a lot more matches if they want to get back into that final, the grand finals in Philadelphia. So
yeah, so a big part of these playoffs so far have been the damage dealers on all the teams. And let's take a moment to look at the Sparks damage dealers specifically, because they, of course, were coming into the latter part of the league with a little bit of struggles, right? Crystal not playing for the roster really anymore. Now they're kind of relying more on Godspeed, Bezzy, of course, and Godspeed's Reaper's been kind of up and down. I don't know, do you think they're going to be able to kind of get it together for today?
Well, I think that they barely lost in their last match versus the Gladiators. It went to that map 7. It was incredibly close. And we saw Godspeed turn around his Reaper play from stage 4, which was, he was kind of the bottom tier Reaper, and now he's doing quite well again. We'll take a look at that in a second. But overall, you know, it was a lot of Reaper Doomfist, of course, from the Spark, with the exception being we did see the Symmetra and the Bastion on 1 point of Busan, but for the most part, it was pretty much what we've come to expect from this meta in the playoffs.
Right, and so if we talk about the Spark damage dealers, we have to talk about the Seoul Dynasty as well. Fitz and Fleta have been their main carries here so far, and Fitz's Doomfist has been looking really, really good lately, but I feel like we still haven't seen the best Fleta we can see. I feel like he's wasted on the Reaper to a certain extent.
I mean, I think you're right, but at the same time, when we saw them in the play-in tournament to even make the playoffs, I would say that Fleta and Fitz, so Fleta late in stage 4 and in the play-ins, was doing very well. But if we look at these guys now, we expected Godspeed to be at the bottom of the standings in terms of Reaper play, based on his stage 4 performance. But in the playoffs, in a loss to the Gladiators, he's up at the top of the league right now in terms of Reaper damage per 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Fleta, very high when it comes to solo kills per 10, but when it comes to more teamwork-oriented statistics, like the Death Blossom kills, he's not being set up very well by the rest of his team in 8th place right now, out of 11 players. So Fleta needs to step it up today if the Seoul Dynasty are going to come away with a victory.
Absolutely. And so another one of the things the Seoul Dynasty kind of has relied on throughout the Overwatch League is their veterans, right? And our own insider Danny Lim had a second to talk with Ryu Jae-hong about the match today.
Thanks, guys. I did get to talk to Ryu Jae-hong from Seoul Dynasty before the series began, and he did admit the team is feeling a little nervous because there is a chance that this might be their last for the season. However, Jae-hong did say he isn't worried at all. After their loss against Vancouver Titans, he said that the team specifically focused on quote, being flexible during the match and reacting to their opponent's strategies. Although they have never beaten the Spark this season, he believes they have a good chance at winning this series if Seoul can be flexible with their strategies and counter Batsy's Doomfist. That's all I got. Monty and Doa, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Danny. So without any more to say, it's time to introduce our teams. And remember, this might be the last chance you have to welcome these teams to the Overwatch League stage this year. So let's hear it for the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me. Pull up in a Rover, steady watching over.
Now, Monty, if you're representing the city of Seoul, South Korea in an esports event, there are certain expectations that come along with that. Seoul Dynasty, they're in the playoffs. Yes, winning is generally the main expectation, yes, but Seoul's been kind of up and down, right? They've made it this far, but it's a battle for survival.
Yeah, and it's been, now they have such a deep roster, and we've seen so many faces starting on this Seoul Dynasty team throughout the season, but they've settled down for the playoffs onto these 6 players, and it looked good in the play-in, but when they came up against a very challenging opponent in the Vancouver Titans, they weren't really able to hang, and now they're going to have to be on the brink of elimination for the rest of these playoffs.
That's right, it's not only them, it's also our next team in this series, perhaps for the last time this year. Once more, give it up for the Hangzhou Spark.
I think you better bow down.
And the Spark as well. You know, this is one of those teams that came into the league, if we go all the way back to before the season began. We talked to a lot of the teams when they were scrimming, when they were practicing, getting ready for the league, and almost every single one said that the Spark was going to be the team to beat. These guys came in so hyped, not just by us, but by the players themselves around the league. Here they are battling for survival. Again, they've made it to the playoffs, but now you got to really fight for it.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at the Sigma players between these two rosters as well, because Rhea was doing a great job of shutting down Doomfist, saving that accretion for the engages that we saw from Hydration on the Gladiators, but he's the flex tank player. Meanwhile, Marvel, the main tank player, is the one who has taken up Sigma duties when it comes to the Seoul Dynasty.
I don't think you can give Marvel enough credit, too, for the year he's had with the Seoul Dynasty. I mean, there was a lot of pressure on this guy, right? Seoul picked up Fissure and then ended up having to switch over to Marvel, and he's performed really well. You can see a little bit up in some of those stats, but like we talked about, the accretion kills, and that does refer to somebody being hit by the boulder toss, the accretion, and then dying within about 5 seconds of that. So it mainly is there to track the effectiveness of stuns you get with that ability, and you can see Rhea above Marvel on that mark.
Yeah, and that's really important to the Sigma play that we're going to see for the rest of the playoffs.
That's right. So our map set brought to you by Toyota. Going to Busan first for our control map. Higher Seed did get to pick that one, and then after this, it will be loser picks for the maps from now on. First to 4 is the order of business today, and we'll see who takes it.
Oh, this is the point that we did see the Hangzhou Spark use the Symmetra Bastion strategy. Whether they're going to do that again, it will be the question. Now, Spark played, besides that strat, they played basically the composition you're seeing right now with Doomfist and Reaper in 93 out of 98 team fights in their last match. So if this doesn't work, we don't really know if the Hangzhou Spark have something to fall back on. Meanwhile, Seoul Dynasty were playing a lot more Reaper Mei. So they do have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to some of these compositions.
It's flexibility, but it is kind of tricky to work the Mei into a lot of these compositions right now. You have to get a lot farther forward to hit people with it. Ooh, meanwhile, looks like Hangzhou hiding out a little bit here. And Seoul Dynasty right now, wondering where those guys are at.
Yeah, they were kind of split up and hiding. I guess they were waiting to see what composition they're going to use. Now, they have both of their damage dealers on the flank. So Reaper on one flank, Doomfist on the other.
Yep.
Spark has been emphasizing damage-dealing flanks in their last match, but they do get Bezzy poked out on that Doomfist. He's too low to go in.
Yeah, you know, Bezzy's looking for those kills there too. Rhea going in. There's Marvel now on board with him as he looks for a couple stuns. We'll see if he finds one. Waiting for that cooldown to come up. Oh, that's a good amount of damage. Nice move back as Seoul Dynasty tries to take control of the point here. Bezzy goes in for the pick. Oh, but the stun and Marvel finishes him. Just goes after the Doomfist and eliminates the pick potential for the Spark. They're fighting a 5v6 now, and it is not going good. Fleta gets one onto Gushue, and another rock means Spark gets rocked. And they're going to get sent back to spawn in a second here. And Seoul Dynasty looks like they're going to get the early control percent.
Yeah, they are going to get it at the very end. So Hangzhou tried to set up for a pincer attack, did not work. And then they send Bezzy in early to try and get that pick. Chunked out, hit by the accretion. Marvel ready and waiting.
It's surprising that Jaehong doesn't have his coalescence quite yet. Bebe does have his. Jaehong not too far behind, but doing a little bit more backline evasive maneuvers this time, perhaps. And they've got Fitz a little bit cornered here. Whoa.
Oh, that was dangerous.
That was a close call for Fitz. Here we go. Graviton or gravitational flux coming in. Bezzy does end up getting the kill on Fleta though in response. And Bebe with that coalescence keeping his team healed as they advance onto the point here. Seoul Dynasty fighting to try to hold it. We'll see if Bezzy can make a difference on the Spark side though. Kills coming in. Fitz is down and Bezzy starting to take names and put impressions of Seoul's players on his fist.
And also the columns of the temple, of course.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Kind of everywhere. There's a lot of vandalism going on, unfortunately. But Spark's okay with it because it means they have the point. They have the point.
Yeah, and they're doing really well. A little bit of an interesting strategy from Seoul Dynasty. They hid Fitz behind their formation, and when he didn't get that pick, he was rendered very low, about 28 HP. So had to get healed up, and in the meantime, Hangzhou used that window of time to just run on top of Seoul and make sure that they were going to be able to get the first elimination. So they're going to start to gain control percent right now.
I don't know if you can really rely on a Doomfist against a team like Spark with Rhea. A bit of Flux getting used. Not a whole lot out of that one, though, it seems like. Meanwhile, Meteor Strike, Bezzy looking to drop down. A little bit of damage onto Michelle before he has to back away. Michelle down. It was enough. It was enough damage done, but Fitz comes back for a counter immediately. Doesn't matter because Gosby walking forward, looking for a third one. But Fleta right there, he turned away. He thought he had the kill on Marvel. It came through eventually. A little bit of a close call, though, there for Spark.
Yeah, very close call for the Spark. Luckily, they had no follow-up damage to make sure the rest of the Seoul Dynasty were going to be eliminated, and they forced them back. Started that fight, though. Crucial that they were able to get the Meteor Strike. It separated Michelle from the rest of the roster of the Seoul Dynasty, and that means they can focus on the Orisa first, make sure that elim comes through and they enter into the fight in a 6 versus 5. Spark coming in again.
Not bad. Marvel, rock denied. Bebe has that coalescence again. The first one he takes out is Jaehong. Jaehong had used his ultimate, didn't get anything out of it. Fitz drops as well, and Spark really looking like they're getting towards taking this first point.
Trying to get exit eliminations too with the help of the supercharger, not going to happen. But as you say, Doa, Jaehong being eliminated during the coalescence, impactful because Bebe gets the full channel off.
Jaehong barely got anything out of it.
Yeah, Hangzhou really had so much more sustained. They're gonna try Godsby here, gonna try something cute. Not gonna be too cute.
Yeah, maybe.
They're gonna knock him into the air. Can he get anything done? No, he cannot. Killed by the Flux.
Oh, big kills from Marvel. Gets 2-1 with the ultimate. And Fleta with the cleanup now, and at the last moment, Seoul Dynasty using that ult advantage to retake.
At that time, Hangzhou, they only had the Death Blossom. So it's going to be difficult. They tried rolling the dice there and saying, okay, Godsby, you're going to hide behind the enemy formation. Let's see if they don't check their corners, and maybe you can get a free Death Blossom. We can close this map.
Sure.
If not, we'll fight a standard fight, see if they're going to commit some ultimates. They do not too much. Seoul still has plenty to work with right now. Sound barrier online. So Seoul definitely still in a position where they can win this point.
Oh, yeah. Hangzhou Spark really close to a couple ultimates, and they've got a couple seconds to build them up as well.
Yeah, patience from the Spark here is key. They want to just make sure they can get the rest of these. Meteor Strike going to divide the team, and they get IDK.
That's big. IDK dies at 94%. He won't have his sound barrier. Big advantage for Seoul Dynasty in this fight now. Can they finish it, though? Godspeed down. They lost Fitz, and here comes a Meteor Strike from Bezzy. The Doomfist turning it around. Gonna go into the Rocket Punch. No connections there, and he has to back out. Didn't get those shields he was looking for. Seoul Dynasty at 96%. Can they hold on? Oh, Toby down, but Marvel responds. Now the sound barrier for IDK. He had enough time to respawn and get back there. Seoul Dynasty couldn't close out the fight when they needed to, and Spark on the verge of taking this one back and taking the point.
And Doa, the critical thing here is that Seoul Dynasty lost Fitz and Fleta, so they had no damage at the tail end of that point, so they can't come back. Wow. IDK comes back with the sound barrier, it's covering the Doomfist, and there was just no way for the Seoul Dynasty to punch through the HP bars of the Spark without their own Doomfist or their Reaper there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that sound barrier is definitely an impactful ultimate, and even though Seoul had theirs, at the end of the day, you have to use that to get kills in a situation like that.
Yeah, and it's very hard if your damage dealer goes down, as we've seen so far in this meta, in order to get those cleanup kills, because you need to hit a rocket punch and just one-shot somebody with a Doom Fist, because if you miss that, you're not going to have much at all.
You know, there's one thing I think you could say with Seoul Dynasty, or one of the things you could say, is that they maybe haven't been the best team at following up on advantages in fights from time to time. They tend to play it a little bit more passively, I think. And that's one of those occasions where it may have come back to haunt them a little bit.
Start with a little poking here. Both teams putting down the Orisa barrier, looking on the side. Accretion actually going to hit him.
Bezzy got Fitz anyway, though. That was an interesting interaction. Rock hit him, but the punch connected somehow.
What?
That was I'd like to see a replay of that, because that was a bit wonky there. That was interesting. I think the punch damage happened right as a rocket or something like that. I don't know. I'll wait to see the replay before I speculate anymore. Hangzhou Spark, though, they do get the percentage going early, and that's another big one from Bezzy onto Toby. Fitz down again, and Seoul Dynasty, you gotta back up and regroup. That's it, man. They're gonna lose Fleta too. Probably, maybe, no? Does he get away? He does.
Well, you see Bezzy, he's doing the same thing that we saw on the Gladiators, which is that he's waiting until the enemy Doom Fist comes in before he makes a play. So there's the accretion. We're going to see, oh, nice. Okay, so he hit him right before the accretion and around the corner. It ended up being a great rocket punch for Bezzy, but this is exactly how he was playing against Hydration.
Yep, got him into the wall too for that extra damage off the rocket punch. Another one onto Fitz. It's like 3 in a row now.
I mean, the Hangzhou Spark are playing very passively. They're saving their cooldowns for the enemy engaged.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing that got the Gladiators teamfight victories against the Spark was the fact that Surefour was going crazy. And remember, we saw Fleta's Reaper stats before this match. Fleta has not been doing well in these playoffs in terms of outputting damage on Reaper.
He's definitely not Surefour, that's for sure. As right now going in, now bringing a little bit of aggression from Son and Toby. Another mid-air rocket punch. Beautiful, comes down for more damage onto Marvel. Take it out, gets Toby as well. Fleta finally falls. Seoul Dynasty can't even get remotely close to the point right now.
That's gross, Doa.
I mean, you think about
those are some really impressive Doom Fist mechanics.
Well, you think about where Spark really had their success against the Gladiators too. It was counteracting the engages, right? A lot of that came from Rhea, but Bezzy kind of picking up a lot of that as well with his kind of, you could say, sort of like counter punches, right? On the Doom Fist.
Yeah, exactly. It was
beautiful.
It was the accretion or the rocket punch. They were trying to shut down the enemy fist.
Yeah. Seoul getting aggressive now. Sound barrier. Gonna go ahead and use the ultimate from the Sigma as well. 93% already though, and finally IDK falls. Fitz gets one. Seoul Dynasty finding a way to maybe turn this one around at the last moment, but Godsby there with the Death Blossom. Rhea down though. Fitz with another one. The Doom Fist trying to carry because Fleta is out. Bezzy back, and he's crushing the rest of Seoul Dynasty. It is going to be a 2-0 on Busan to start this off. Hangzhou Spark looking unassailable on that one.
Yeah, that was really crazy. Good defense there, even though they lost IDK early. So Hangzhou Spark coming out really dominant. And Dynasty need a game plan here because the Spark are holding back and they're waiting for their engage. So the Dynasty need to figure out some way to make an effective counter strat.
Well, they've got a couple minutes to do just that. We'll see what they come up with when we go to map number 2.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
And by Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The most memorable moment would probably be beating Shock this season. That was like such a good experience. It made me like really happy.
That's right, there's a big shatter! Oh, they did it again!
It's crazy because we were such a big underdog.
The Houston Outlaws defeat the San Francisco Shock.
It's my old team, I'm good friends with like literally everyone on the team. So I was just happy playing against them, and then winning just made it like the best experience ever.
Welcome back. And there he is, the man, the fist, the legend, Bezzy. That's right. Get every answer for the aggression from the Seoul Dynasty on Busan, and see if that carries through to another map. But man, the counter punching. So good.
Somebody needs to shut this guy down. If you're the Seoul Dynasty,
You have to do it from range, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. You can't get.
Well, I will tell you what you
guy.
can't do. You can't just rocket fist into the formation because
No.
he has your number. He's going to kill your Doomfist. He did it a billion times to hydration. He's shutting Fitz down right here. And again, the difference is the Gladiators had Surefour, who was going crazy and getting a billion Death Blossom kills and coming into the front lines or teleporting into the back line and dealing a lot of damage. Now, Fleta has to step up. If they're going to target the enemy Doomfist so thoroughly, there should be room in terms of cooldown usage for somebody else to come in and make the plays. And that guy, it's got to be Fleta.
Yeah. But is Fleta that guy? That's the real
He was
question.
in the play-ins. So
That's true. I mean, the thing is, when Fleta has a good day, he has like one of the best days of anybody in the Overwatch League.
his ceiling is very high.
Those days have been a little bit too far and a little bit too in between for the Seoul Dynasty, I think, overall.
Yeah, I would agree with you. But as you see here, Eichenwald 5-2 for the Dynasty on the season is their map selection for having lost.
Not too surprising here. Seoul Dynasty on the defense first as Hangzhou Spark go on the attack here on Eichenwald. And we'll see what they have planned here.
Spark just going to put the Orisa barrier down in the choke right now. Get the spam going in. Doomfist going to use the rocket fist just to get over the building, get a little bit covered. Just chunked out. He's going to have to rejoin his teammates. Needs some HP.
Oh, there we go. Because control is one thing, right? But now you're in a situation where Seoul Dynasty can just sit back and they can just wait for Hangzhou Spark to come to them.
Right.
So this, theoretically, is a more comfortable position for the Dynasty.
Yeah, depends on the barrier usage. They're going to push up slowly.
Or not. It's down already. Bezzy getting a little bit of help from Rhea. But still doing a lot of work there in Seoul Dynasty. They're bottled up. And that bottle is going right in the recycling.
Well, they made that look easy, though.
That's point A, man.
Just
what can
a
you say?
really slow push, waiting for their barriers to come back, popping them down on the corner, and then all of a sudden, you get just an interesting pick from Rhea there onto Fitz.
Wow, that
and
was
Fitz has been going down first in a lot of these fights, Doa.
Brutally fast.
Uh-oh, here's something interesting. Godsby behind enemy lines right now. Could be where he's going to come in from. I don't think they know. Seoul knows he's there. He's in the castle right now, behind Seoul. Okay, I think they saw him.
Well, he's going to come in anyway. There's the aggression from Spark. They're going to go for the Gravitic Flux. J-Home pops the Coalescence. Can he keep Marvel alive? Oh, Marvel's so low, but he manages to get the shield up just in time. Still standing for the moment. Meanwhile, Fleta getting a little bit low. J-Home saving lives left and right. But they got to get some kills at some point, too. Marvel does have the ult. He's going to use it. That's a 5-man Gravitic Flux. Can he get any damage out of it? They got the sound barrier, but now right on top. Oh, the Absorb. Marvel soaking up a lot of that Death Blossom. Thanks for the shield, bro. And Fleta with the kill on the Gushway. Seoul Dynasty trying to turn this fight in their favor, and it looks like for now they're gonna have it.
Wow, Marvel, really the hero of that one.
Absolutely.
If you think about Hangzhou, they used their own flux. They used the sound barrier to cover the Death Blossom. So Seoul comes in, gets insane value out of the Sigma ultimate, and wins the fight all the same. Really good kinetic grasp there to absorb a lot of that damage coming in from the Death Blossom of Godsby, and now Hangzhou stalled out.
Well, they've got some ults to try to break it, but Seoul Dynasty, now they're the ones with the ultimate advantage a little bit. Efficiency is the name of the game now. All right, time for the supercharger out of the Spark. They're going to walk forward with this one. Fleta looking for an opportunity for the Death Blossom. J-Home pops out Transcendence, fits in the back line, gets a bit of shields, gets out Spark. Still moving forward here for the moment. The payload, well, stop now, but it's all pink on it. Gravitic Flux only catches one, just Toby, but it's enough to kill him. And Spark, can they leverage this 5v5 into a win here? Marvel with another Gravitic Flux. Last one is pretty good. Bait gets used. Oh, but Bebe's in a rough spot right now. The orbs, nice angle. Oh, but he gets a health pack too. And he manages to fade again. The cooldown up just in time, and Marvel can't quite finish him. But hey, Payload's moving back a little bit. Seoul Dynasty still come out of that one with a win.
Yeah, definitely. And they're doing a much better job holding. Like you said, it's harder for the Spark when you're not playing into them. So some of these attack rounds from Hangzhou might not be their best. No, they did take that point A pretty quickly. They've been stalled out for a couple minutes now here on B.
It's definitely better on B. They've got them under 3 minutes at least. It's still a good amount of time, but that drawbridge can eat up a lot of time as well. And if it's taking this long to get this far, Fleta!
No.
What the heck? He just Mario stuff. Came down, Andrew Gooman out, bro. Fleta back to spawn. Godsby really close to another Death Blossom here. Jaehong, oh, he gets busy with the Coalescence. All right, not bad for Seoul Dynasty. They still got to try to stop that payload, though. They've fallen back across the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, the even trade, though, still means the Spark are going to be able to push this forward. Now they fall back, knowing that there's 6 players return to the Seoul Dynasty lineup, but that Supercharger not going to be very useful. It's placed down right on the drawbridge, so value...
Safe position.
Yeah, very, very low. Not the best Orisa ultimate that we've seen. Now, however, Hangzhou Spark going to come back in as that ultimate expires.
Yeah. Does eat up a little bit more time off the time bank. They got to watch out. Don't want to get halted off the bridge right now. Meanwhile, it's going to be another Gravitic Flux. Pulls up Godsby into the air. Fitz goes down. So DPS for DPS in this fight. Here come the sound barriers for both teams now. As he rocket punch loaded up. Oh, he knocks never mind. That was actually Godsby. Didn't quite get his ult off in time. That was interesting. Fleta, meanwhile, close to his own Death Blossom. Seoul Dynasty, they lost Marvel, though. How long can they sustain on the payload? I mean, looks like long enough.
Spark can't go in. It's a 4 versus 5 right now. They've got to wait for their Reaper and their Orisa to get back. Orisa, really necessary to start these approaches. You've got to have that Orisa barrier there if you want to have any kind of presence on the objective.
Everybody back. See if Michelle can maybe get somebody pulled off the edge. But it's going to be the Coalescence for Jaehong. They're going to go right in with that one. Oh, but Fitz had to use a rocket punch to get back on. Oh, goodbye, Michelle. He's off the edge, and that is a fight that Spark won, and they lose Godsby, but it's a good start. Toby, though, gets the boop on the Gushway. Both Orisas off the edge of the drawbridge now. As he trying to turn it around, rocket punch just in time, connects with Marvel. Man, those right clicks are insane from this guy. But Fleta right there with the Death Blossom. Is that going to be enough, though? Is that enough damage? It looks like it might be. Oh, no, Gravitic Flux.
The Flux is there, but there's still too many members of Seoul. So it's just Godsby right now trying to do what he can. IDK zipping in on the Lucio, but they're actually just staggering themselves at this point. They need to back off.
This is scary for Spark now. Under 30 seconds, and yeah, they're right at the end of the B, but they haven't taken it yet. Seoul Dynasty is going to get time to set up.
Yeah, but they can at least touch because they have Meteor Strike. So they're going to touch for free with the Doomfist ultimate potentially.
Sure.
Waiting, of course, for the taxi now of the Lucio, bringing Godsby back in. So could get another shot at this, for sure.
Reaper in the back lines. Fleta trying to get a pick here. Bezzy, going in. Onto Toby, gets booped away, though. Can he stay safe? Gravitic Flux. Come right down onto it. No kills out of that one. Here comes the Meteor Strike. Marvel does get the kill on the IDK, but Bezzy in the back lines. Onto Michelle. That's one. Seoul Dynasty losing members pretty fast. There goes Toby. Oh, Rocket Punch missed. This is announced Marvel's turn to try to do some damage. But it seems like the Spark are just a bit too evasive, and Seoul Dynasty can't get the kills they need. That's point B. That was close. Michelle's back. I don't know if you can win that 4v5, buddy. That's a tough one. Looks like they'll barely give that one over.
So many of these fights, once they devolve into these little skirmishes, Doa, it really depends on who has the most damage dealers. So do you have your Doomfist and your Reaper remaining, and do you have your Moira left to provide that healing? Because if you've got both your damage dealers and your Moira, and say both teams have lost their Orisas, then you're going to be much more powerful. Like, if they just have tanks and supports, you're going to mow them down.
People have been saying it's a carry meta, and you can definitely see that with the importance of damage dealers again here. Seoul Dynasty, Fitz gets stunned a little bit here. Ooh, nearly went down. There's a Gravitic Flux coming in from Hangzhou. Fitz gets one onto IDK with the Meteor Strike on the other side. So Seoul Dynasty giving themselves a little bit of breathing room here on point C anyway. Nice connection, but he can't get the finish on the Godsby there. A little bit less of a stagger. They're going after it. All right, no more exit kills, it seems like. Unless Rocket from downtown, or nope, Rocket doesn't connect, so gonna back off.
I got one more shot at this, though. Hangzhou Spark desperate to finish this map right now. They need to come in. They've got some good ults to do it. Coalescence should allow them to really get in the mix right here. They're going to enter with a Meteor Strike.
Now, why not? Worked on point B. Is going to go right down onto the Aretha. Michelle taking a bit too much damage. Toby can't get the sound barrier off in time. Fleta, though, too, with the Death Blossom, but here comes Cosby. No, the damage is denied. And Bezzy down as well. The damage dealer's out of commission here. Cosby back in with the sound barrier. There goes Marvel. Can the Spark pull this one out of the fire? I don't know. Meteor Strike, nah, there goes Godsby, and only IDK remains. He's off, and can they keep the team away? Trying to swing in, but look at the denial, and they can't get back there. Seoul Dynasty will stop the Spark from completing.
Spark lucky they even got B, so getting into C, definitely useful for them. Now we get to see what their defense looks like when they have the Seoul Dynasty playing into them. That was their strength on control, so can they replicate that and get a stop before about halfway through the last point on Eichenwald?
Big chance for Seoul Dynasty to tie this series up. We'll see if they can do it when we come back.
Support your team with the official Overwatch League Coca-Cola bottles at CokeStore.com. Ships to all 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. P.O. boxes.
Welcome back, guys. Seoul Dynasty getting the stop on point C over the Hangzhou Spark. And a lot of that due to this gentleman right here, Marvel, the Sigma player extraordinaire and a player that's really stepped up when Seoul Dynasty has needed him to this season, and they need him now more than ever.
I mean, the Sigma damage is pretty insane for both of our Sigma players, and oftentimes in this meta,
every Sigma player everywhere in Overwatch,
yeah,
got the insane damage.
Got the insane damage. So oftentimes we'll see the Sigma player leading that damage category. Throughout these playoffs, he was dealing over 14,000 damage per 10 minutes, which is very impressive. Very impressive.
Tank with gold medals, LOL DPS. What's wrong?
Sigma can pump out that damage if you have the right aim. And a lot of teams, of course, playing around the Sigma right now. So Marvel delivering, had some particularly good, I mean, the most impressive thing was his Gravitic Flux as his ults.
Yeah, Kinetic Grasp, quite good as well to absorb a lot of the Death Blossom from Godsby.
Indeed. So now we're going to see the Seoul Dynasty attack. 4 minutes on the clock here to take point A.
So how's Seoul going to approach this? Attacking has seemed to be their Achilles heel here. Their kryptonite, if you will. Approaching kind of slowly. That's what we're talking about with Seoul Dynasty. They definitely played a little bit more passively.
You have to wait for these barriers to come back. Making sure you have that opportunity. So they're going to put the Orisa barrier right on the point right now. Both Orisa barriers going out at the same time.
Both barriers going down really fast. So Sigma puts his out again. Now Gushue. Like a little bit of damage. Here comes the Coalescence. Way faster for Jaehong. But can they convert it into a win? Bezzy down already. That's a great start for Seoul Dynasty. Now Rhea getting extremely close to his Gravitic Flux. Way ahead of Marvel as well. And he's going to use it. Seoul may not be expecting this. Fitz in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. But meanwhile, the rest of the Spark falling around. But Rhea, he's turning it. Can he get another one? Looking for that triple kill. Michelle dodging around the shields. He's agile because he's got 4 legs. He's got the Fortify as well. And he's got the shield from Marvel. Meanwhile, the point being taken in the back.
Somehow Rhea survives, though. That's the crazy part, Joa. And now the Spark teammates are coming back in.
He lasted long enough, but Godspeed down again, and here comes a Meteor Strike from both. Looks like Fitz is gonna have to look up. When he comes down, he's gonna go right down on the roof because of that. Rocket Punch, oh, he misses. And Michelle, a lot of trouble, the uppercut though. Ooh, saved him for a second, but not long enough. And now Toby with a nice right-click kill onto Gushue. Hangzhou Spark still in trouble here on point A, and the payload gets moving.
Yeah, Rhea stayed alive that entire time until the very end, though. He got a lot of time off that clock, but still Seoul Dynasty there with the capture. So regroup now. Time for the Hangzhou Spark. See if they can get a team fight win here on this defense. As you said, though, the important thing at the start of that fight, though, was that Jaehyung got that coalescence so fast.
Yeah, that was incredibly quick.
And that's the downside of burning down the enemy's barriers too quickly, because Hangzhou was dumping damage. They got the Orisa barrier down. But if you just poke them and don't kill them, all of a sudden...
Oh, welcome to the fight, Godspeed. Time to run away and run right into the grid. Vinix flux. Michelle doesn't even let him hit the ground. And now Marvel looking for a little bit more damage here. Fleta does fall to Bezzy though, so Spark keeping it equal in the kills here, keeping it more than equal as Fitz goes down now, and without the damage players, Seoul does have to back away.
It's a situation where with both Reapers down, it really comes down to whoever's going to burst the next person. That time, it was Rhea picking up the elimination. Meant that any kind of forward movement from the Seoul Dynasty, there was too much of a threat of the rocket punch coming in from Bezzy. Not much you can do besides back off the payload at that point in time.
Right.
Taking a look right now, Meteor Strike and Death Blossom up for the Seoul Dynasty, coming up soon for the Spark. Toby with the and IDK with the sound barrier is very important. So Flood is trying to get behind enemy lines. He knows they don't have a support ult. If he can get a good Death Blossom.
He's climbing up on top of the cage. What is he doing? He's insane. Coming down right in the payload. There's the Death Blossom. Gets one. Meteor Strike lands on him and he's sent to another map. 1 for 1 so far, but the sound barriers coming in for both teams. Gotta wait for those to burn away now. Jaehyung trying to burn the Spark with his Coalescence. Godspeed going in with the Death Blossom, but not so successful. Kind of looking like stage 4 Godspeed for a second there, and Seoul Dynasty are gonna get this payload moving again.
That fight, though, you'll take that trade. When you trade the enemy's Moira for your own Reaper, at that point in time, in the standard composition, you're only running Lucio, so your options for healing are somewhat limited, right? So when you make that trade and you still have your damage dealers available to you, or at least your Doomfist, you can come in and just slowly grind away at the enemy. They have the Coalescence as well, so you just sort of walk up on them with the extra sustain and win that fight.
Right. Marvel so close to his ultimate. Oh, he had to use it to live. He was almost knocked off. That was insane. Can he get any kills out of it, though? Toby gets a knockoff onto Rhea, actually, when he's at 93% to his ultimate. Hangzhou Spark with a big loss there. Maybe Godspeed from on high can turn it around. Gushue does get the knockoff onto Michelle. The environmental coming in from the halt. Jaehyung just trying to torch people with that Coalescence now. Let us down. Spark still in the payload for the moment, but Seoul closing in around them here. Toby down. Godspeed with a big kill there, and that's not a lot of healing, and Seoul Dynasty has to back away.
Too many players coming back from spawn for the Hangzhou Spark. Bebe still going to be in a very sad Moira duel here with Jaehyung.
Yeah, you're right. Just give up. That's pointless. Yeah, there's some supportal combat that you just don't take.
Well, big investment from the Seoul Dynasty, especially at the end of that, using Fitz's Meteor Strike in a not great situation when they already were down several players. Hangzhou will now enter this next fight with about 5 ultimates online, including both support ults. It's gonna be hard for Seoul to break this.
All right. Positioning. Ooh, yeah, fortified just in time to avoid getting knocked off. Michelle, the plays there. Fitz gets the kill into Godspeed.
That can't happen.
Right, loaded up. Bezzy in the back lines onto Fleta. Ooh, the Reaper's out. Seoul Dynasty a little bit of trouble here, but the sound barrier comes in for Spark. They were low health, but it didn't matter. Lucio off saving everybody. And there's the cleanup. And now Seoul Dynasty in big trouble.
I mean, are they? The thing is, Seoul...
I think they might be.
They they got the Spark to use both of their support ults. They used four ults, the Spark, in that last engagement.
Yeah,
so
but
now
this is the
Seoul,
last fight, though. Gotta win this one.
I think they will. Both support ults being up is absolutely huge in this meta. And because Godspeed died early, Hangzhou had to overcommit. So now Seoul got a really good chance of winning this next fight.
2 predictions, analyst versus play-by-play. Who will triumph? We'll find out. 2 caster curses going in 2 separate directions. There's Jaehong, he's got the Coalescence. A lot of damage onto Rhea, trying to get those shields. He is down. Michelle, the equalizing. Seoul Dynasty, though, going in with the sound barrier. And that was a nice right click on Shui from Toby again. And it looks like the analyst was correct. Shocking nobody. Seoul Dynasty, looks like they will get point B in another little bit of time in the time bank.
And Seoul squeaking out these little advantages that force an imbalance of the ult economy in their favor. Looking really good. Now, though, we're swinging back the other way. Hangzhou Spark will have their Coalescence, and they didn't get a lot of time on the clock, only a minute and 15 remaining. So Seoul, this is where they might be in real trouble.
We'll see. Here we go. Gravitic Flux gets used. Can they get any kills off it, though? Bezzy in trouble. He's going to go down. Toby with the finishing blow there. Marvel loads up the rock, but it goes into the shield. Goes forward to the bit of shields for himself. Fled it down. That was an attempt at a Death Blossom there that didn't work out too well. Shui a little bit low. There's a halt right into Fitz's Meteor Strike, but they don't get the kills from it. So Seoul so close to finishing this one, but they just can't seem to finish any kills here. And now Fitz goes down. Jaehong has the Coalescence. Will he commit it? They've got one more attack left. They're going to try to fall back. Marvel in big trouble here. Can he actually escape? He gets the healing just in time.
Not losing Marvel is pretty important right there.
Yeah, it is.
So no stagger onto this next fight. Give Seoul just a little bit more time to work with. Shui low. Gonna get a little bit of healing from the Moira. Bebe on the way back. Another Coalescence up for the Spark.
Yeah, the ults. All right, Gravitic Flux.
Not doing anything.
And nobody. That was only the Arisa and the Fortify kept her from flying around. And now it's going to be Jaehong with the Coalescence. Oh, I think that one did not work out, actually. Toby really close to the sound barrier, though. They're going to need that.
Okay, here we go. Marvel's going to have to hit a big ult here.
He gets 2 people in it, but can he get the kill? The sound barrier preventing that. Rock comes through. Oh, that got denied by the shield, too. Clutch shield coming in from Rhea at the end. Now Marvel just fishing for a little bit more damage here. The sound barrier's down on both teams, worn out by now. But there goes Bezzy, big kill for Marvel. Found the pick he was looking for. Fleta wraithing out of the back lines where he found a little bit of damage. Ooh, that's a lot of damage on a Bebe as well. Nearly goes down. Marvel getting aggressive, going for it. Godspeed denied his ultimate, not doing enough. And Seoul Dynasty, they may have done it here.
I think they have Doa. Bezzy's the only one up right now. He's going to try and get a touch, but it's just not going to happen.
Not going to get there, and Seoul Dynasty ties up the series.
Oh, man. There were a couple big mistakes there from the Spark. Bezzy's Meteor Strike where he got killed immediately, tried to go into enemy lines, and then right as he respawned, they tried to play a little bit overly aggressive, went for Godspeed with the Death Blossom, and I think they could have just waited just a little bit more, backed off, and allowed Bezzy to rejoin them.
Close match either way. We're going to take a break, go to our first desk break, and give the teams a chance to take a breather. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll be right back after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X5 gives you the speed you need to game like a pro. It's win or go home in this one. So, of course, we've got a great match on our hands. It's all tied up at 1 apiece after the Dynasty take Eichenwald. Welcome back, everybody. It's halftime presented by Cheez It Grooves. I'm your host, Chris Puckett. I got the gang with me. We got Zoe, Brent, Sideshow ready to break down all of the action, the early action in this one. Now, in the playoffs, we should remind everyone at home, it's going to be the first team to win 4 maps. And if you look at the playoffs up to this point, we've gone to map 7 3 times since the play-ins. I have a feeling, 4 times, I should say. Is this going to be the 5th time tonight? Are we going to another Game 7?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think neither of us has any right anymore to make any predictions. At least the 3 of us, I think you're still allowed to, but we were just wrong.
I'll call it now. We're going to a Game 7, but let's look back at how we got through game number 1. Zoe, we're looking at the Fist in this one. Wanted to see would Fitz be able to clean up his play for the Seoul Dynasty, or was it going to be Bazzi from the start? Take a charge.
I mean, so when we were talking about this game, we did criticize kind of both of those Doomfists. I do think they both played a little bit different than in their previous matches. Bazzi, in my opinion, has been playing a lot more cohesive with the team. He looks more comfortable on that hero now, and Fitz on the other side. He was maybe a little bit too confident, maybe a little bit too eager to get into the fights and not very eager to get out of them anymore, or at least not alive.
Yeah, he's still obviously feeling a lot of pressure to try and initiate in these fights, try and create something at least for his team, because, I mean, again, these are playoff scenarios. You've got to remember, the loser of this match is going to be going home. There's no second chances. This is the loser's bracket. So I imagine that probably does affect them as well in terms of their play and how they're going to be performing on a lot of these heroes.
Josh, what do you think was the biggest difference maker for the Spark? Because they won Busan pretty clean. It was 2-0.
I would say that they learned from that game against the Gladiators, and what they learned was your tanks need to be aggressive. It was the tank line from the Spark pushing aggressively into Seoul, and that made a lot of room for Godsby and Bazzi to be able to flank around the sides or find angles onto the enemy DPS. And we're going to see that adaptation throughout this series, I know it, where Seoul are going to start to pick up their aggression as well. This just seems to be the direction every team has to head in.
We were talking about those tanks being so important for the Spark, and the tanks definitely made their presence felt on Eichenwald. We were highlighting Gushue and how he's constantly pushing the action. At the end of this one, it went in favor of the Seoul Dynasty. They had a great stall on the 3rd point, but let's look at a few of the big highlights here. Marvel shutting down every single Reaper ult we saw on the board.
The guy was really showcasing just why he is one of the better Sigma players that we've got in the league right now, actually, in his individual plays. And Fitz as well stepped up as well. He wasn't feeding as much anymore. This is sick as well. I mean, again, it's not the hardest thing to hit in the world again, but he did have to hit his ultimate to try and save himself there in that scenario.
I would say, I think that the Hangzhou Spark kind of lost this on their offense, honestly. They had great opportunities to be able to push much further into point B and point C, but after they had set up that situation where they had to fully defend kind of halfway through point C, the Seoul Dynasty found it easy just to grind it out once they already knew where the finish line was.
Absolutely. Well, there is no bigger moment than an elimination match. So that means it's crunch time, presented by Cheez It Grooves. Today, we're having a little bit of fun, but we got to start here with our newest hero getting all the play time in the world. We got to break down the players. We got Marvel for the Dynasty on your left, Rhea on your right. After 2 maps, who's got the edge so far?
I mean, it's still a little bit hard to tell since so much of these kind of numbers really depend on the rest of your team as well. Marvel does have the upper hand in a bunch of these metrics. He does absorb a lot more damage with his shields, very well placed, but that also means that there is more damage coming in from the other side. So, you know, always have to take that one with a grain of salt. Overall, I think they're still kind of on equal footing.
toe jokes.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. In terms of the eye test, I would still give Marvel the edge, though. I think that generally he's more aggressive in the right moments, and his positioning just looks a little bit more crisp.
Brendan, you and I had similar grades in math class. We hate numbers, but you have definitely been
really well in math.
I don't believe that, and no one
I was going to do
agrees with that.
Computer science at university.
No one believes Brendan on anything. Anyway, back to the eye test on the board. I've got a board here. It's our power rankings. It's our Sigma top 5. Way to derail that. Let's get back on track. Brent, you have to go first. If you were going to put a Sigma on the board from our playoff teams,
oh, I've got some, have I?
Who
we
would you put where? Who do you think is the best Sigma in the game right
honestly, I haven't thought about this.
Well, that's a pity.
Which is fun.
And now here we are.
That's the guy I'm looking for. Marvel number one.
Number 1.
I'm going to try and nail this quite quickly, actually.
You're doing great.
Gator number 3.
Gator from the rain.
Weird one.
Okay.
That's showing up at the
2.
right time.
Yep. And I am going to put probably
He's running out of picks.
Yobin and then Janu. Trying to slam it out as fast as possible. There you go. Those are my picks for my top 5 Sigma players.
Who have you got, Zoe? Because I heavily disagree with Brent.
I also put Marvel up on
Marvel
top.
number
Don't
1.
Judge me. No, I think.
Almost a 2, lands at 4.
Yeah.
So why is Josh going last again?
Because mine are the definitive rankings, you know, after
don't
everybody
believe
else sees them.
But yeah, look at the bracket. It's very accurate.
Yep.
I think.
Meko number 3.
go-
Number 2 spot. Gesture from
Yeah,
the London
no.
Spitfire.
Not based on his last game, but definitely on his first game.
It's draft season, Josh.
Okay.
Start us
I've
from
got
the
mine.
bottom. Can
I
you
mean,
build up the anticipation?
Put some respect on Gator's name here.
Are you
Oh,
kidding?
okay.
This guy, it was outrageous yesterday. One of the biggest reasons. I agree with you, the Marvel and Meko are pretty fantastic themselves. But when you get down to the rest, honestly, Gator was playing it better than anybody else.
You're
Marvel,
joking.
pretty good defensively. Gator was so good. Go back and watch that game. It was outrageous. And hydration. I've got one more thing that I need to do as well. Is that really this was spelled
Are you
wrong.
gonna?
Oh, Toey.
Just
Oh,
toe.
just toe, actually.
Just toe, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, there we
Depends
are.
if you're Swiss or not, I guess. There we have our final leaderboards. Gator and Marvel in the top 3 across most of our picks here. But the real question is, who is going to be the bigger performer in crunch time? We still have plenty more games to go. Is it going to be Marvel or is it going to be Rhea? Who do we got?
Marvel has been playing a consistently very good game throughout the series. I'm expecting him to keep that going. The difference maker is going to be whether or not Seoul decide to feed or not with a lot of their players. And also the ultimate usage, because it's been up and down for both of these teams as well. But like Josh said, it's going to be a battle as well of adapting on the fly to a lot of the aggression that's going to be coming out from some of the tank players.
All right, guys, get in the chat right now. Let us know who are your top 5 Sigmas. That was Crunch Time, presented by Cheesy Cruise. All right, crew, it's game time. We are getting back into the action right now. You guys said it may or may not go to a Game 7. All 3 of you said it was Seoul before the show kicked off. After watching 2 games, are we staying on the Dynasty train?
I do. I mean, Spark looked really strong on the control map. Not super surprised by that. I do think that now that Seoul has warmed up a little bit more, they should be taking the edge. However, the next map is going to be Spark's pick.
I'm going to be sticking with Seoul as well. Just for no real clear reason, but just I've got a good
I
feeling
love
about
this.
them.
That's why you're on the disc.
Yeah.
Josh?
Could go either way, but I'm going to go with the Seoul Dynasty as well. I think as the series goes on, their tank line's going to play a bit more aggressive, and Marvel's got the skill he needs to be able to win the Sigma battle.
There you have it. Our expert picks are in. Don't go anywhere. We got a big Game 3. It's the Overwatch League playoffs when we come back. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. They're not Pringles.
Welcome back, guys, to a really sick series right now between the Seoul Dynasty and the Hangzhou Spark. But before anything else, I gotta call up the desk because seriously, Rhea only made one of those lists and he was at the very bottom. Are you guys not watching this match right now? I mean, Rhea's insane. He's hitting mid-air boulders. He nearly kept the point alive on his own on Eichenwald. Like, he is one of the few bright spots that Spark had in their match against the Gladiators. Rhea is by far one of the best Sigmas in this league right now.
I also think that, you know, Rhea's job, as far as we've seen the Spark are concerned, has been really to be a counter-engage force. And
he's doing a great job at it.
I think that, indeed, I think he's a lot of the reason both he and Bazzi are kind of looking for the incoming Doomfist and seeing who's going to stop that initial rocket punch. So I think Rhea's been, I agree, one of the strong points here for the Spark overall.
And, you know, to be fair, I think we've seen a lot of good Sigma play in the playoffs so far, but to deny Rhea like that, man, that's just wrong. That's wrong, and we could not let that stand. Temple of Anubis will be our next map. We'll see if Seoul Dynasty can keep the momentum going. If you go back to their match against New York, they did lose the first control map and then win the next two before things got a little bit grim after that. So see if they can continue the trend, but then change the trend a little bit with less losing.
This will be the Sparks selection here, despite the fact that they are 2-7. Dynasty not boasting a very strong record, but new meta means
selection.
that, yeah, things are going to probably change up a little bit here. Right now, Godsby on the Mei. Likely that is going to change.
I was going to make a joke, and then I remembered what channel we were on. Spark selection.
All right, so Mei is going to change. No surprises here as the Hangzhou Spark will be entering into that mirror composition that they have so heavily favored in their first two series here in the playoffs.
Yeah, it seems to be the comp a lot of teams have just decided to sit on now. No Symmetra, no Bastion for either of these teams. Godspeed. Yeah, just firing into the shields. We'll see if they can get rid of the Seoul Dynasty barriers before they move forward here.
Right now.
Damage going forward. Yep, there's Fortify as they go in. Yeah, try to get a lot of absorb. Rhea getting some shields out of that one from the kinetic grasp. Oh man, and now Fleta has to back away too. But Bebe, very close to the Coalescence, could not keep Gushui alive because he didn't get it in time. Jaehong down and Fitz grabs 2 kills. Now Marvel a little bit of trouble. Good thing he got those extra shields. Again from the shift from the kinetic grasp.
A lot of these initial fights that we're going to see in this meta, Noah, it comes down to that coalescence because it allows you to get so much more space.
Yeah.
So in these barrier battles, what you're going to see are the teams, in fact, moving forward past their own barriers at sometimes or waiting till they get destroyed, not shooting into the enemy barriers and making sure their tanks are taking just a little bit of damage so the Moira can heal them up. Now, if that had not been stopped by Bezzy there, Bebe would have gotten a much faster coalescence, and that was probably the game plan there for the Spark. Not going to happen now, though.
Right, now they got it. Going to go in. Marvel throws a rock out just in case anyone decides to get aggressive through the shield. Fitz with the kill to Bebe. Already cuts the ultimate short. Goes in for another one, and apparently it's time to activate Fitz.
Well, you know, Fitz did a very good job of meteor striking into the back line and then using his rocket punch to push Rhea forward and finished him off after that. Good positioning there.
Yeah.
On the side of Seoul. Now they're going to sit back behind this barrier once again. Both Sigmas with ults online.
It's that Seoul Dynasty defense coming up big again. Just like it did on Eichenwald. See if they can do more with less. As Spark charging forward now, getting ready to use their damage ultimates. Meanwhile, it's a long flame from Godspeed. Coming in from behind, jumps on top of everybody right now. Rakitic flux from Marvel, no kills out of that one though. He's gonna walk forward. Why not try to get a little bit of shields going? Oh, the rock comes in too, and Fitz and Marvel again. The Vanguard leading the charge, and Seoul Dynasty with another big team fight win.
Well, you know, this was an issue that the Spark had against the Gladiators as well, which is that they were trying to set up these long flanks. So Godspeed was standing at the main choke of the map, waiting to come in with his Shadow Step. But what we saw the Gladiators do is simply realize that and then immediately speed boost in and take a 6 versus 5. Happened again right there. So Hangzhou Spark not tricky enough.
Yeah.
Now Godspeed is behind them on the bridge again. So Seoul Dynasty, what's their reaction going to be? Godspeed's in deep in the back line.
He's trying using the ultimate right now, waiting for people to come back down, but now he's got the sound barrier to contend with, and he's not going to go for this one. Using it finally is Fleta. He looks for a little bit more damage on the run, and finally the Hangzhou Spark getting the kills, and this should finally lead to a point A, but they burned basically everything, literally everything, in fact.
Yeah, not going to be a lot of snowball here, but fortunately for them, Seoul Dynasty also using quite a few of those ultimates. So they do get the pincer attack that they wanted in that last engagement.
Yeah, it took almost all the time they had to do it, though. Just had about 25 seconds left on the clock when they got point A. Fitz is going to have the Meteor Strike soon, so it's one defensive ult. For a little bit of space, a little bit of zoning, maybe a little bit of killing. We'll see.
Might be a little bit hard to do with just that one ult, secure any kind of eliminations with the Meteor Strike. Hangzhou
better than nothing, I suppose.
Camping here on the corner once they get their barriers up. Trying to apply objective pressure. The Risa barrier comes back in, so Sigma ult is gonna leapfrog in with their barriers.
I kind of bounced off the pillar, but it's okay. It's gonna come down now, a little bit of damage. Oh, but Fleta the one to drop first. Didn't really get that ultimate the way they wanted. Marvel has that Gravitic Flux. Is gonna get 4 people, 3 people make that in it. Fitz already down though. Nice stun. Ooh, that's a big one. Bezzy takes on Michelle as well. Comes out with the Meteor Strike, and Hangzhou Sparks steamrolling their way through point B. As Seoul Dynasty just overrun on the defense. Trying to scramble with some respawns now, punch versus punch, but it's gonna be Fitz in the middle of the enemy team. That's no good for him. Seoul Dynasty scrambling now, and with that sound barrier, Spark should have the tools they need, the help they need to try to take point B.
Sound barrier's there, so it's gonna buy a little bit more time here. They're trying to get the supercharger down at the same time. Die, says Godspeed on the corner of the point, and Michelle will oblige.
I think so, yeah. And they've got the supercharger as well. So much damage coming out of the damage dealers.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh, Fitz does get the kill on the Bebe before he uses his Coalescence. Marvel gets back to spawn. Oh man, he was nearly down to Bezzy.
No damn.
Seoul Dynasty trying to turn it around, but Fitz out of the way as well. Fleta over to the delay on the Moira. Michelle on the Reinhardt even, as they just try to get picks, and he gets 2. And how about that? Seoul Dynasty, you know the shocking thing with that is that Spark didn't even get the second tick on the point.
Yeah.
That's actually what surprises me the most.
Incredibly impactful. That second point, if you get it, it makes stalling so much harder on point B here on Anubis.
Yeah.
Only a little bit of time left now, minute 15 seconds. So Hangzhou Spark coming back in, looking like they were going to be able to win. But if your Moira falls, you must get a pick immediately. You must, because if you're trying to engage in a sustained battle at that point, if you're just chipping at them, you will lose that on a long enough timeline.
Right. Back to a similar situation at the very beginning of this point B. There's Meteor Strike used. Toby, they're trying to buy time. Nice halt into the Meteor Strike. Good amount of damage despite no kills. Fitz gets out. That's the important part. Now Meteor Strike comes in from Bezzy. Toby not so lucky. Bebe gets him at the Coalescence, and Godspeed unopposed. With that Death Blossom, they cornered the Seoul Dynasty and took them out. And Toby never got that sound barrier. Seoul Dynasty may be in trouble, but Bebe down again. Can anyone from Seoul Dynasty delay now? Rin Jae-hong doing what he can. And now we've got Michelle on the Wrecking Ball again, just trying to sustain a bit longer. Nice wall from Fleta as he's into full-on stall mode. And here comes Marvel again. Now he's on the Reinhardt, but now he's down. In a little bit of trouble to get 1. That's 1 for Fitz. All right, less than a tick need to be taken, but Spark can be forced to OT either way unless they take the point. Right now, Fleta's down, so they've got a chance with Michelle hiding behind the shield. Now Marvel over on the Winston, but can he get back in time? Bezzy down, Fitz looking to make some plays here. They gotta stay the point. They gotta make sure they force it to overtime. That is huge. Oh, and Seoul Dynasty turning it around. A map-defining hold. What a defense for Seoul Dynasty. I can't believe they pulled that off.
I can't either, Doa, but it was Fitz. 2 Moira picks in a row to start their stalls, and that's what makes the big difference. It's very hard to top up your HP bars again, so you can just grind them down over time. Also, big credit for the fast swaps to those stall heroes.
Right.
Ball. We saw the Reinhardt come in. We see the Mei come in, and that gets them enough time for Fitz to come back and make the plays that allow them to slowly get a player advantage.
Now that is what you want to do if you want to survive in the playoffs. Seoul Dynasty, again, giving themselves a shot to end this map early. We'll see if they can do just that in a moment.
Support your team with the official Overwatch League Coca-Cola bottles at CokeStore.com. Ships to all 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. P.O. boxes.
Well, if it fits, it sits, and Seoul Dynasty sat on point B, but too long for Spark to handle. Sorry, I had to do it.
Did you have to do it?
I did. I actually did have to do it. It's a
Yes,
strange
yeah,
compulsion.
actually, yeah.
I'm gonna work on that. Yeah, sorry.
He actually is compelled to make terrible jokes. You can't stop him. He can't stop himself.
It's like Lady Gaga says, I was born this way. You know, we've got a lot in common.
You and Lady Gaga, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I had the displeasure of seeing you in that meat dress one time. It was horrific.
It's mostly the meat dress when you think about it. I'll be bungee jumping at the Super Bowl this year, too. Seoul Dynasty on the attack. And all they need to do is take point B, as far as Spark did, to take a lead in this series. Rolling out with the composition of choice for the meta right now.
Are we gonna do anything different? We'll see if Seoul is gonna have more success. Halt gonna yank them out. Fitz is doing this. Okay, we've seen this before. Yep. They know where he is. They're checking that spot. So what that does is it can get you all the way onto the opposite high ground. We saw, I believe, Dallas Fuel Effect do that last year in the Overwatch League.
Seoul Dynasty trying to push their way through. They're not wasting any time, getting aggressive now. Fitz goes in. Ooh, nice poop. They managed to knock Osby off the high ground. That's a lot less damage for Spark now, and they have to back away. They lost that Reaper. Ava Michelle down. Rhea comes up with the big pick.
I see Bezzy just staying over there on top of the main choke archway and coming in after the Seoul Dynasty engage. So again, it's really Bezzy who's marking Fitz in these engagements. He's trying to prevent Fitz from doing any kind of damage or getting value out of his rocket punch and punishing him for being perhaps a little bit too aggressive. Shoves him out right there, and considering both of the damage dealers on Seoul Dynasty were chunked out, they were able to focus Michelle in the front line.
Jaehong now has that Coalescence. Both Moiras, in fact, have that one equipped. Gonna go ahead and use it. Maybe he uses his as well. And here comes a Meteor Strike. Can he possibly find a juicy target? Looking for it right down onto Rhea. Has to back away, though. They don't get the kill.
Bazzi.
Rocket Fist misses, and Bazzi gets a kill on Fleta. Fitz just couldn't find the pick that time. Spark does have to cede the high ground over to Seoul Dynasty, though.
Yeah, Seoul's gonna take up this position. Hangzhou gonna play aggressively, try and retake.
Yeah, that's right, going in. Oh, Fitz killed already. Gravitic Flux claims 2 victims as Toby goes down as well.
Hangzhou Spark making the most of this defense right now. They know they can't really give a lot of room considering how poor their attack round was. Late stagger onto Marvel. Seoul coming back. Both teams with the sound barrier right now. They're going to have a much faster coalescence, however, and they'll be sitting on 5 volts. Seoul likely to be an economy push here.
Oh boy. Yeah, Bezzy just taking a look at things.
Just checking it out, making sure he knows the timing.
Starting to get a little bit
of their
conservative for Seoul Dynasty here.
Yep, 6 members, all 6 members of Seoul. He's trying to make sure that there aren't any shenanigans here from Fitz. Once again, standing on the Jackal to get to the back high ground.
That's right. Seoul Dynasty poking just a bit more. They're looking for the Coalescence, looking for the Gravitic Flux from Marvel as well. There's the Coalescence coming in. Oh, denied! Bezzy pushed out, and there's the sound barrier. Can they wait? Okay, he's gonna wait out the sound barrier a little bit. Comes down, doesn't get anything. Now pushed away again, 20 HP. Fitz gets the kill onto Rhea. Now Marvel takes down Bezzy. They were so ready for that Doomfist engage.
All right,
beautiful.
So there's a nice adaptation there. Fitz says, you know what? I'm gonna wait for you now, Bezzy. He hits him with 2 rocket punches. Now that doesn't connect him to any walls and actually get the elimination, but it does force the Meteor Strike, which sets up the second rocket punch that gets him over. So Fitz right there, really trying to tag Bezzy, forced all of the ultimates. So this is great for the Seoul Dynasty. They got their economy push and they won the fight. So they're coming in super strong into this next engage.
Yep. Marvel down though. Well, not so strong into the next engage after all. As Marvel gets picked. And there goes Michelle as well. So Seoul Dynasty will have to let a little bit of time be burnt as they regroup again, losing both tanks. Not conducive to a momentous push.
No, and I think it's smart for Hangzhou to play up right there. There aren't any support ults, so if you don't see that Coalescence, you can be a little bit more aggressive right there. They're not going to sustain up, so if you can play aggressively and get that pick, you can stop it. That's what they do on Marvel, and get themselves back in the, especially support ult game a little bit. With that coalescence, going to be very important.
All right, so Dynasty, oh, there we go. All right, gets used. This is done. Denied. Toby dies anyway, though. Marvel, not so lucky either. So Rhea still claiming the kills that his team needs. Gushui down, but Seoul Dynasty just trying to, get an easy retreat. Maybe not. They're going in. Whoa! Fled already. Bazzi vaults himself into a wall, and now with the coalescence of Jaehyung, they're trying to sustain on here. We'll see if they can do it maybe. Fled taking the high ground. Can he go in with the Death Blossom? He's going to try it. Dropping down from on high. The shield denying the damage. Owen Gushui finishes him off. Bebe down though. Fitz finds another pick onto point B. That's what he was looking for. But they're going to have to retreat anyway.
Yeah, not a tick taken either by the Seoul Dynasty. Now they're down to 2 minutes. Still very winnable for them. But Hangzhou holding on just barely at the end of that.
That was just another great play from Rhea, actually. Getting 2 crucial picks as Seoul Dynasty advance onto the point.
Yeah, and the stun, so if you're in the Sigma Ultimate, you can get stunned out of it if you start to levitate yourself and before you actually engage the channel.
Right.
But if you're already lifting the enemy into the air, it's over. So we got stunned out of his accretion, but it's not going to actually stop the flood.
Ooh, that's a decent accretion there. All right, I think, no, maybe not, hard to say. Meanwhile, Toby, sound barrier gets used. Seoul Dynasty still taking a bit of time to approach the point. Both barriers now down for each team. And we're waiting on Fitz and his Meteor Strike. Looking for another one. Okay, there we go. Gravitic Flux comes in from Rhea. Has to, or splits up Seoul a little bit actually. Didn't get any kills out of that, but they did back away. Now they've got the Coalescence again for Jaehyung. And the Meteor Strike. See if they can make it work. They turn this into a push. Remember, they don't need to take all of point B. They just need about 2/3 of it. A little over 2/3. But there's under a minute.
He's buying time right there. He's making sure Michelle can't advance efficiently by getting in his face, and nobody's stopping him right now.
Gatsby in the back lines. Gotta watch out. Here comes the Death Blossom. Ooh, that was close. He's finding an opportunity to use it, but Seoul Dynasty responded, but they lose Michelle. Pezzi with a big pick for the Spark, and now the Spark charge forward, pushing the Seoul Dynasty back off of point B, and even with Gushui falling, that's just fine, man. They got the quicker respawn. So Spark leaving the Seoul Dynasty with one last push to try to win this map.
And Michelle needs some help right now. Now, the meta is you're going to alternate barriers between the Sigma and the Orisa and leapfrog them forward.
Sure.
But there's so much pressure on Michelle. Michelle can't walk forward even when the barrier is there because Godsby's just standing in his face with the shotguns.
Pretty much.
So you can't advance towards the point. You can't actually threaten the objective.
Oh, now Godsby, another Death Blossom might end it before the push even begins. They do know, but there's only so much you can do to stop this. They got to be so worried about it. Fitz takes a lot of damage. Just a sound barrier used a bit earlier than Seoul would have liked. Nice stun. Big stun into Godsby. Here comes another Gravitic Flux from Seoul Dynasty. Ryu uses his as well. Toby, though, keeps people safe. Oh, maybe not so much. He's going to go down. Fleta gets one onto IDK. Kills traded, but Hangzhou Spark looking okay so far, and yeah, they've got the kills, they've got the respawns. Seoul Dynasty came close, but they just could not get any sort of purchase on B, and that's going to be the Hangzhou Spark taking the lead.
And as expected, the Spark were stronger on defense. They didn't have a great attack round, but they got just enough in order to hold with some aggressive plays at the start of Anubis. B right there, playing around those initial choke points. And really, the point was never threatened, hardly at all, by Seoul Dynasty.
Well, the lead has been seized by the Hangzhou Spark. Seoul Dynasty on the outside looking in. We'll see if they can tie up this series when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Zip Chair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League.
Hi.
Players.
Where do they come from? Orlando? Orlando, Lando.
A land down under.
I thought they're coming from Orlando,
No.
Lando.
A land down under.
We come from Orlando, Lando.
But why would anyone say that? Just applying a bit of common sense would be like, was he singing to a man called Lando?
Was with Carpe and EQO popping off hard. It's like, where's this head coming from? It's a mirror.
They're still playing Meeper?
The Meeper Ray. Yeah.
It's so contagious. Don't do that.
Oh, sorry.
Halftime presented by Cheez It.
You didn't give me enough time to say it, Wolf.
Sorry, my bad.
Don't come at me. It's a hard throw. We're on Disney XD right now. I ain't got time to throw Cheez-Its in there.
But I definitely see the winds are changing, and I'm seeing a strange breeze on the air in the Blizzard Arena today.
You are lost in the sauce with this metaphor.
Danny! Danny, that's littering.
That was chaos.
Quack.
Well, there you go. And, you know, personalities in the Overwatch League, we all have different types of ways to warm up before a segment, and Sideshow just goes quack.
Doa actually gets on all fours and barks like a dog.
I'm practicing my Arisa cosplay. That's why. There you go.
I did tell Doa when he insisted that we do a cosplay that I would only cosplay Arisa and only if he was the horse butt.
He's been saying this for years. And
it's still true.
I just don't think so. I don't know. It's not my jam, man.
You can be a
Sorry.
robot. You could be the back half of a robotic horse.
Thank you. This is what I've always aspired. You know, in kindergarten when they asked me what I wanted to be.
You said back half of a robotic horse?
How did you know?
Wow, it was really, you were really
I'm really helping.
looking into the
I'm helping
future.
you out with this here.
I'm impressed. You should probably use your oracular talents for other things.
Oracular. That's a word that's probably never been said on a sports broadcast in the history of man.
I have many such records.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right. I'll believe you, I guess. Dorado. This map we're going to. It's going to be our escort map here. Hangzhou Spark trying to put themselves one map away from advancing in the lower bracket. Seoul Dynasty trying to survive, trying to tie up the series and avoid an early trip home. It's a good map for the Spark, though. 4-1 for them, so maybe a little bit of a surprising choice from Seoul.
I see pretty forward defense here with Fitz on the high ground. Meanwhile, Bezzy back by the payload right now. So Fitz going to be looking for an angle here to get that rocket punch. It's going to be found out now by Bezzy.
Yep. See in the Doomfist Mortal Kombat, Bazzi and Fitz even. 8 kills on each other. But it's not so much about the kills. It's about sending a message. No, I don't know. It's about displacing the enemy Doomfist when they try to come in and ruining their attack. That's what it's really about.
Also, you know, so many of those eliminations, it matters when they happen.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. All right, Hulk brings a lot of members of Seoul in as they have to fall back on the defense. They really didn't contest that first part at all. Now Fitz is down. Oh boy. Bezzy grabs one onto Toby too, and it looks like point A might be given up pretty quick by the Seoul Dynasty. They're in a lot of trouble right now. Marvel with no chance, and that was a slaughter.
I mean, the payload never stopped in A.
No.
Because what happened is Seoul was posted on the high ground trying to spam out, and Fitz was standing on top of one of the buildings by the spawn of the Spark, but he didn't find an angle, had to rocket punch back over to the rest of the team. They didn't stop it in the choke, and then they just lost. They lost a member immediately, turned into a 6 versus 5, and Spark just rolled them the whole way. It's about as fast as you can finish Dorado A.
Pretty much.
Historically on this map, we see so much play around that choke, and it can be hard to finish A on this map, and no delay at all is bad news for Seoul.
It's so strange. It almost looked like they just didn't have a plan, you know, for that early defense. Nothing really happened. Oh, nice stun on to Bezzy, though. Fitz finishing him off with the rocket punch after the rock came in. Marvel getting a little bit of shields there as they push forward. Now Coalescence used by the Spark, but they're not able to turn that into a push here. Jaehong had used his as well.
Yeah, but they mirrored it, and because the Coalescence allows the Spark to survive, they're right back into the thick of things right now. They didn't get staggered at all. The Doomfist is going to rejoin the comp shortly.
Sure, just a bit of a delay on the payload.
Yep, it's very small one, though.
At the point. Rock comes in. And Bezzy goes for the Meteor Strike. Now lands right on Fitz. Oh boy. And now Marvel gets a few with the Gravitic Flux. The shield wearing away. There's the stun, but the damage comes in anyway. Supercharger. There's a nice rock. Nice damage on the Bebe to finish that off. Really good and accurate throw with that left click. Trying to hit a floating Rhea is a difficult task, and Marvel can't quite get the job done. Michelle in trouble at Seoul Dynasty. They're kind of spread out. They're all over the place right now. There's really no cohesive defense. This is easy for the Spark to pick apart.
And you know what? The payload just keeps moving, and they keep getting staggered, Doa.
Yeah.
This has been such a poor defense overall from Seoul, based on purely the play around the objective. They're going to get another shot here. Now, what they did do is they forced Gushue onto ball just to get back in time. So that's going to be a little bit of a stall right there. They did not want to use a Coalescence at that point in time to force this out.
Michelle down already. I don't know what he was doing there, man. He kind of got pulled in. They juggled him around. And Seoul Dynasty again. Nobody's there to really stop that Death Blossom, the shield. I mean, Gazby just jumps through it. Gets a kill on the IDK anyway.
I mean, he saw the kinetic grasp cooldown was up. It had just been used by Marvel, so that's when he decides just to commit with the Death Blossom. Makes it look easy.
That was disgusting.
Smart move by Gushue to switch back to the ball there just to make sure that he was going to engage, but Seoul just throwing away ultimates on that
throwing
defense.
away the defense here. It's going to be over 4 minutes. That is, I can't remember the last time I saw over 4 minutes on Dorado.
Yeah, just remember the Hangzhou Spark in the maps we've seen outside of Control, they've struggled on their attack round. So if you give them a free attack round, their defense has been much better. So you have to start getting worried if you're Seoul. You can't stop them here. And
all right. Hangzhou Spark crushing people. Rhea moving forward. It's looking easy here. They get caught in the Gravitic Flux for the moment. Rhea lives. They had IDK's sound barrier to keep them safe. Nobody stopped just yet. Oh, it's a decent little stun there. Bezzy trying to do a little bit more damage. Marvel and Jaehong down already. And that payload almost at the end. Finally, IDK falls, but they've got Bebe's Coalescence, so the damage and the healing still very good for the Spark right now. And the Meteor Strike from Fitz, how much can this really accomplish? Find out. He's just going to use it to retreat, it seems like. And that payload is still moving, and there's nearly 3.5 minutes in the time bank. Marvel trying to get there, a little bit of shields early on to start things off with. Bezzy takes a lot of damage. Can they finally finish him off? But Marvel down already. Bezzy drops. Fleta finds the kill. It's a 5v5. No, never mind. Rhea gets 2. And the Hangzhou Spark with the supercharger will finish a supercharged attack round. It's only the Wrecking Ball now, and the Spark having zero trouble. 3 minutes in the time bank. That was domination.
Remind me who picked this map, Noah.
It was Seoul, and we saw at the beginning. This has been a good mark for a good map for the Spark.
I don't know. I mean, I'm glad we have a word for that in competitive gaming. It's called feeding. That was a 29-6 elimination attack round in favor of the Spark. There's almost no delay on the payload whatsoever. That was a train wreck for the Dynasty.
Man, after the close maps we had up to this point, that defense was just broken. That was just busted right from second one, man. I don't know if their mentality just shattered on Anubis there or what happened, but man, that was a pretty awful round for Seoul Dynasty.
I mean, luckily, many of the players on the Dynasty stage right now are longtime veterans, dating back to pre-Overwatch League.
They've been around.
So, most of the time, you'd believe that players like Toby and Jaehong and Fleta, at least, are going to be able to hold it together emotionally on this stage. They've got their work cut out for them, though, on this attack.
I'd say so. 3 minutes is one of the most intimidating time banks I have ever seen on Dorado. Credit to Spark, too. They really wasted no time in capitalizing on any little mispositioning errors that the Seoul Dynasty did. Getting a lot of picks where they really didn't have any business getting them.
So a similar defense that we saw from the Dynasty coming in from the Spark, except they're going to have their Reaper push forward too. Actually, nobody on the high ground, so they're going to play a low ground defense here with their DPS on the flanking buildings.
All right. Try to stop the payload a little bit early. Remember, Dynasty just kind of backed up during this point. Fits in the room looking for a flank on the side. Rocket punch.
Oh,
nice.
Beautiful.
That was great. That ult set up the rocket
Really nice
punch
ult.
beautifully for Fitz. Yeah, that was quite well executed by Seoul Dynasty. So pushing through the Spark already. It's a 6v5. Can they get more? Trying to go in again. It's a nice uppercut onto Gushue, and Fitz is angry. You won't like him when he's angry. Seoul Dynasty likes him when he's angry, but Spark doesn't.
Well, and you know, the thing about this, Joe, is at least the Hangzhou Spark, they're going to get another shot at the defense here, especially since they're sending IDK back with that speed boost.
Right.
And at least they slowed the payload down, which was more than the Dynasty did on A. So having that low ground defense allows them to contest the objective. Everybody's going to be back well in time to get another defense down right here.
See what they've got. They've got the Coalescence. Shehul coming up onto his right now. Fleta, meanwhile, a long way away from his ultimate. All right, it's going to be Shehul with the Coalescence. Used immediately as they walk in. Meanwhile, Gravitic Flux from Rhea. Damage onto Fitz, and that's enough to get the kill for the Spark, and now they can push forward. No Doomfist in the backline to worry about. They can just get aggressive, and you can see Seoul Dynasty already bidding a fast retreat.
Yep, so Fleta goes down late in the engagement. Gravitic Flux really only catches Fitz there, but that's enough to get the player advantage.
Well, it's, you know, it's like we were saying, without the Doomfist to worry about in the back lines, nothing to stop you from going aggro.
Yeah, fortunately for Seoul, as we look into this next fight, they're going to have that sound barrier, and that's such an incredibly powerful ultimate when you're trying to push forward with a low-range hero like your Reaper.
That's right. Now
it's a big one.
Yeah, it's got a decent one right now. Can they get the damage done? Not quite. Some people reduced to about half health. Now Godspeed finished off. There we go. Marvel following it up with the damage they need. Meteor Strike comes down, and now they're going to try to use the sound barrier rather to keep this push going. They've got the kills they need, and it looks like this should be a point A for Seoul eventually.
Yeah, clean engage off of the Gravitic Flux. So remember, the Reaper can escape with the Wraith form from the Sigma ultimate, but then you know the Wraith form is down. So that's why Seoul immediately tried to follow up onto Godspeed right there. That was their next target, because the Flux might not have done very much, but it did get that cooldown out. And if you can play around that Wraith form, then you're going to be able to actually get the elimination that powers you forward with the payload.
That's one of the major things you think about in this composition with both the Reaper and the Moira. You track that cooldown, and you know they can't escape. You can be a lot more aggressive.
Absolutely.
Now Seoul Dynasty looking to get a quick push here on B, going supercharged, not going to last long as Godspeed just walks right in and kills it unopposed, looking for chances to maybe do the Death Blossom here. IDK uses the sound barrier. Godspeed uses it to get in there, get aggressive. 2 kills. Michelle and Fitz down. Godspeed with the cleanup now. And Seoul Dynasty back to spawn again.
Well, they're going to stop that payload on the corner, too. Godspeed, take a little shadow step forward there, but nothing going to happen. Doesn't see anybody else to clean up late, and they're going to set up around the cart once again. So Seoul Dynasty coming in with another Flux here from Marvel soon. But this will be mostly a neutral engagement. Teams start to poke at each other to start things off. Yep, big spread here from the Spark. They know that Flux is up, so they're going to try and spread out so they don't all get caught in it.
That's right. I want to get halted into anything else as well. Going to try to find a couple. I think you got 2 on that one. A little bit of damage on IDK, and nice follow-up again by Marvel. Ooh, knocked down the Reaper, but didn't get the kill. Getting a little bit of shields here from the Kinetic Grasp, and Fitz comes into the follow-up on the Godspeed. Seoul Dynasty pushing forward here, and they're getting the kills. And despite the efforts of Spark to try, like you said, to split up, it was still enough. You know, you get rid of the Lucio, and you follow up some of that damage with your damage dealers. Payload moving ever closer to the end of B.
Yeah, you got both of the supports, so at the very least, he cut off feeling from the front line of the Spark. So his damage dealers could really go to town. Bonus is that he got the kill on IDK as well. Seoul with a couple of support ults right now.
That's right.
Coalescence is coming out early.
All right, and Gravitic Flux. Toby pops the sound barrier.
Got Fleta.
He's alive. That's right. Oh, and Fleta in a lot of trouble here. Oh, but the stun comes in under Rhea. Toby and Michelle down, and there goes Fleta. So Hangzhou Spark gets enough out of it anyway. Fitz. It's like, I'm taking you with me, Reaper, but nope. No luck.
Yeah, Yeah, there's a good timing there, waiting for the Flux. And the Wraith form was down, provided enough damage so that Gosby can get the follow-up. So Seoul now stalled out in spite of having that sound barrier advantage. IDK manages to hold on to his for the next fight. And Seoul back in a situation where, you know, maybe they're looking at plunking down the supercharger and trying to charge up some other ults on this push, but they've got the, it's gonna be very difficult for them to play into the sound barrier right now.
That's right. See how much poking is successful here. Gosby Wraith forming up, that's a cooldown that's gone now. Something Seoul can keep an eye on, and Mezzy, Fleta, gets a big kill there, yeah. 6v5 to get the Reaper out of the way. Now Gosby goes into the back lines, right behind the Orisa supercharger down. Has to Wraith form again. Marvel used the ultimate. No kills out of that one. There's stun onto Gosby, and no Wraith gets out. Fleta, 3K with the Death Blossom, and Seoul Dynasty looks like they're finally ready to push through B. 2 minutes on the time bank. No chance to equalize Spark, but at least a good chance to finish.
Yeah, Seoul catches a big break with the first to limb. Let's take a look at Fleta right here. He knows that there's not going to be that sound barrier down. And bonus, they had just charged up the Coalescence, uses it. It's too late. The burst damage from the Death Blossom overwhelms the sustained heal. So they get the kills, they get the team fight win, they get the point, and they force the Coalescence. Excellent for Seoul.
Speaking of Coalescence, Jaehong pops his now as Seoul Dynasty tries to get forward. Fits it with the rock, has to back away for a second. Now the rocket punch coming in. Nice connection. Gushue into the wall, and a kill on Gosby as well. Fitz going crazy on C. Wraith form. Oh, fade for Moira to get out. Gets to save his ultimate the entire time too, and Seoul winning that fight very efficiently.
It's just about delayed though, Doa. Minute 20, not a lot of time. So even if the Spark continue to lose these fights, they'll always have that respawn advantage so close to the end. And so, just a couple more fights here. Hangzhou just gonna hold back right now. They're coming up on 5 ults.
Trying to defend it right here. 1 minute for Seoul Dynasty. Fitz, oh, barely got that ultimate off to escape just in time. We'll see where he comes down. Decides to come down up on the roof to try to stay a little bit safer. Buying his time here. Didn't get the shield, but he did get the kill on the Gosby. And that's enough. Seoul Dynasty trying to finish people off, but they lose their Orisa at the same time. So Spark turning this fight, and Seoul Dynasty really gonna struggle here if they have to regroup. It's do or die, and it looks like Seoul just dying now. Hangzhou Spark, they will hold.
Didn't want to use the sound barrier though if you are the Spark.
Yep.
Would have loved to have had that one for the next fight, considering there are only 30 seconds left, and both damage dealers had been eliminated from Seoul. There was very little threat.
Yeah, it's gonna be desperation mode now for Seoul Dynasty, as they've only got about 15 seconds left. They gotta get they have to get somebody there to just touch, which means they're probably gonna be fighting a 5v6, as they might just have to sacrifice Fitz to get in there.
Well, they're gonna at least have the Reaper and the Doomfist with the mobility to touch the payload.
Oh, IDK there. Look at that, IDK on the right side to boot Fitz away. Let him manage to touch anyway.
With Wraith though, so he doesn't have it now.
Yep, that's right. Gosby could get a good Death Blossom here. Seoul Dynasty already softened up a little bit. We're into overtime now. Seoul Dynasty desperate to stay in this map. As they walk forward, Marvel getting a good amount of shields from that kinetic grasp, but now Gosby in the back line. He knows the kinetic grasp is down, and he's getting the damage done onto Marvel, onto Fleta, onto Michelle, and Hangzhou Spark managing those cooldowns and manhandling Seoul Dynasty, and they will put themselves 1 map away from advancing in the loser bracket.
Yeah, impressive attack, hardly stopped at all. The Spark able to push through. They come back with a pretty decent defense. Seoul Dynasty nearly get to the end, but it's not enough. Spark now 1 map away from advancing in this losers bracket. Seoul Dynasty will be sitting at match point against them with the threat of elimination for the rest of this first to 4.
Pressure's on for Seoul Dynasty. Next map is literally win or go home. See if they can stay in it after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
And by Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, guys. And it is do or die for the Seoul Dynasty. One map away from being eliminated from Overwatch League 2019. Marvel and crew have fought hard, but man, that defense on Dorado is quite concerning. We'll put it that way.
And Marvel's been great, which is he's been the bright spot here for the Seoul Dynasty. It's hard to fault him throughout this, and we're going to Lijiang Tower, and you know, that first control map was really one-sided in favor of the Spark, and it wasn't like the Spark were back to using some of their arguably cheese strats that we saw them use against the Gladiators. They just played straight up Doomfist to Reaper, and in the mirror, were completely dominant. So Hangzhou, especially on Control Center, will be running that Reaper Doomfist again. Seoul Dynasty likely to be mirroring them. Fitz looks like he's just going to use the teleporter to get a faster position for his tank line on the Symmetra before switching to the Doomfist and rejoining the team. But Hangzhou, I would be very worried if I was a Seoul Dynasty fan right now.
Yeah.
The hope is slipping away.
This is where your mettle is truly tested. This is where the true competitors will battle back and stay alive in this series. Make or break for Seoul Dynasty in Overwatch League 2019. Getting things started on Control Center now. Every pick, every kill is going to be crucial for Seoul and Spark. Spark looking to stay alive too. Want to end this match right now. Toby. That's right. Toby escapes, but barely.
Impressive dodging there.
Yeah, that's right. Marvel, ooh, takes a lot of damage. Goose right down. Fitz finds a pick early on, and Seoul gets a 6v5. But can they keep the advantage in their favor? As he does have to back up a little bit, and it's going to be an early coalescence before Jaehong's. Bebe does get his. There's a stun, there's a kill on the Marvel, and it's that Moira all making the difference. Fleta going for a hero play, trying to get the back lines. Can't get the picks though. And Rhea getting zapped. They do have that later coalescence going back in again. Both Doomfist striking as well. And now maybe Fitz with that meteor strike. Got one, but Godspeed is onto Michelle too. It's been so back and forth. But Seoul Dynasty giving ground. Hangzhou Spark getting closer and closer to getting that early control percent. Kills onto Fitz now. And Godspeed walking forward. Toby down finally, and Spark do get that early control percent.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you lose your Lucio if you're trading it for a hero on the enemy team, because if you're already engaged in that combat, your main healer's the Moira, and the speed boost isn't necessary because you're already there in that face-to-face, that melee on the point. So having the extra damage dealer, much more impactful for the Spark.
Oh, that's right, Rhea. Okay, we got ultimates coming out from both Sigmas right now. Sound barriers to try to counteract that from both Lucios as well. More ult parity. There's a rock comes in. Bezzy pops the meteor strike. Try to get out. More coalescence coming in, and Spark taking the lead again in this fight. Holding strong right now despite the supercharger from Seoul Dynasty.
Fleta gonna try and escape with this Wraith form, but he's gonna get
Whoa!
Hit the teleport. Just enough to save him.
Yeah.
And IDK.
All right, that's
he
big.
plays aggressively, and sometimes he goes a little bit too aggro right there. His death means that there will briefly be a 6 versus 5 for Seoul, a chance for them to reclaim the point.
Yeah, that could be a difference maker as Seoul Dynasty tries to retake here. Bezzy in the back lines. Fortify is going to deny the rocket punch. Meanwhile, low health on that Doomfist as he has to try to back away. Fleta's sitting on that Death Blossom now. Jaehong's so close to another coalescence. That's his Bebe. And there's a hit onto Michelle. The damage too much. Knocked him into the wall, and Bezzy finds another amazing rocket punch. Fifth as well. Bezzy just tearing the Seoul Dynasty apart. And they are looking
can't be
lost.
stopped, it doesn't seem like.
Doesn't seem like it at all. Man, he's just landing rocket punch after rocket punch or right clicks. Unavoidable by Seoul Dynasty, it seems like.
He's got 6 out of his team's 11 final blows right now.
That helps.
Really doing the work here for the Hangzhou Spark.
90%.
Seoul Dynasty is their last fight. They lose this, they're gonna go down 0-1 in this control.
That's right. It would be 100-0 too. Tragic for Seoul Dynasty. Rhea dodging around. Now he's got the ultimate. Gonna be able to bring up Marvel. There's a kill on him as well. Bezzy finishing him off. Nice timing with that meteor strike. Bebe down though, but Godspeed right there for a kill into Jaehong, and he's gonna pop his ultimate as well. Gets dropped by Fitz, and there's Fleta with one, but it's not enough. And Seoul Dynasty Spark 100-0 in that round. And now Dynasty, 1 round away from being eliminated.
Bazzi right now, 9 final blows out of 17 on his team. He gets over that 50% to end this map. It's what we call a Fleta deadlift. It would be a very interesting way for Seoul to end their season with Fleta getting Fleta deadlifted against him.
Deadlifted right out of the league.
That would be quite the bummer, but IDK looking pretty happy. And you know, if I was Hangzhou on Control right now, where I've been slapping the Seoul Dynasty around on seemingly every point across these 2 maps, I'd be having a giggle too.
The looks on these guys' faces couldn't be more different if you look from team to team right now, and we can see that. Seoul Dynasty, they know the stakes. Here on Gardens, Lijiang Tower, could be the last time we see Seoul Dynasty this year in Overwatch League. Same compositions for both team again, just like we've seen every map.
Do or die for Seoul. They've got to go 2 for 2 in the next 5 points.
Again, oh, that's a lot of damage onto Marvel. They need to do something about Bazzi. They need to do something to stop him from going in and hitting those right clicks, because he's connecting with every single one. So far, not so good for Seoul, but they do manage to get on the point first. Can they keep people alive? Can they find the picks? Another rocket punch comes in. There's a knock-up onto Marvel. Airborne yet again, but gets the healing. Bezzy loads up another rocket punch. Denied this time by Toby's right click, and it's going to be the coalescence for both teams.
Oh,
Fits down, though IDK finds the damage, and there's one onto Jaehong. The support's eliminated. Oh man, and now Seoul Dynasty has to give way, and it's going to be Spark taking the control percent first again.
And they're going to get the cleanup kills too. Toby barely escaping, but Fleta not so lucky. So Bebe now returning. They've got to wait for Bezzy. He's going to come back very soon before Seoul Dynasty can get there, especially with that mobility that the Doomfist has. Control percent ticking up right now on the side of the Spark.
Yep.
See if Marvel can make another great play with the Sigma ultimate.
He's going to need to. Going to try right now. There's a halt, okay. Now they only got 1, and Godby just wraiths out of it. That's not what they were looking for. Meteor Strike comes down.
Oh boy, that's a big ult.
Rhea does get the kill onto Toby as well. Spark just pushing the Seoul Dynasty right out of the map.
That gravitic flux was so much better from Rhea, catching like more than half of the Seoul Dynasty in it. They were in that choke point, and Hangzhou just waited for it to be over. They wraith formed out, like you said, of Marvel's ult. They came back with a sound barrier, forced the Dynasty into a confined space, and then their Sigma ult really seals the deal. Godsby now getting cute. Are they going to check the corner?
A lot of people predicting Seoul to win this one.
Okay, well, they did. They did check the corner.
Yeah, they did. All right, so Godsby gets out of that one. The Spark, perhaps a bit underestimated. Certainly their anti-Doomfist play, that's for certain. Godsby coming around the back now.
Wants this.
He's got his ultimate, that's right. Oh, nearly denied by Toby. Trying to take out the supercharger as well, but the damage is too great. They get Fleta anyway. No problems at all for Hangzhou Spark. And with this team fight win, they have effectively put themselves 1 fight away from kicking the Dynasty out of the league for this year.
Yeah, Seoul Dynasty, this is it. This is the final moment. They must win this next team fight. They're not going to make any transitions in terms of their composition. They've got 1 Death Blossom and maybe, most likely, a Gravitic Flux here to work with.
Have it.
But if they give the Spark any time, Spark's going to have 2 support ults, and they're not going to win.
Looking grim for Seoul Dynasty. Fleta gets into the back, nearly dies though. Can't use his ultimate like he wanted to. And there's a Gravitic Flux. Fleta can't escape. IDK gets the kill. And there's one onto Marvel as well. Hangzhou Spark sealing the deal. They are not going to let Seoul Dynasty get a single percentage point on their final map in Overwatch League 2019. The Spark trying to clean up. 1 last janitorial service performed, and that's it. The Hangzhou Spark will advance, and Seoul Dynasty is done.
It's a disappointing way for the Seoul Dynasty to end their season, but Hangzhou Spark come out with a definitive victory, and that should power them up for a potential losers bracket run. They were just a next level over the Seoul Dynasty tonight.
Yeah, hard fought by both sides, but Spark definitely showing that they came prepared, that they had the anti-strat to the strat, essentially. Same composition, but Spark just played the mirror so much better.
Yeah, that's going to keep them around for another week. Spark now, bit of a breather before they have to play any more of their matches coming in.
That's right. Seoul Dynasty, making it to the playoffs, but 2-0 for them. Still, playoff season's a playoff season. A lot of ups and downs on that team. A little bit of juggling at the tank role. Some bright spots. But we're going to have to wait till next year to see what Seoul's got to offer in their next match.
Seoul had a better performance. They made stage playoffs this year compared to the 2018 season. They made the overall playoffs despite being the first team to exit. And they've built a strong foundation, I think, heading into their homestands next year.
Yep, that's right. And now, let's send it down to Danny with our victory moment presented by Coca-Cola.
Mountain Dew, thank you very much, everybody. Give it up for IDK and the Hangzhou Sparks. They have plus the win. They are moving up one more time. IDK, now, today's match was a really great game, but in your opinion, how was the Hangzhou Spark able to clutch the win today against Seoul Dynasty? 일단 승리 너무 축하드리고요. 항상 이 말은 항상 하는 것 같습니다. 일단 오늘 승리 좀 어떻게 거두시게 되신 것 같나요?
그러니까 지금 시즌 1 때 리그 시즌 1 때 이제 서울이 런던이랑 뉴욕의 카운터였잖아요. 근데 이번 시즌은 항저우가 들어가게 하자. 우리는 무조건 서울한테 지지 말자라고 다짐을 해서 이긴 것 같아요.
So ever since last season, everyone knows that Seoul was the countering team to one of the best teams in the league last year, like New York and London Spitfire. So coming into this season, we were really determined to never lose a single match against the Seoul Dynasty, and I think our belief in that really helped us out to get the win today. Now, so after today's win, you guys will be facing off against either New York Excelsior or Atlanta Reign. Have you watched both of their matches? 그 두 경기 다 보셨나요? 뉴욕 거와 아틀란타 거?
네, 다 봤습니다.
Then, who do you think is going to win that round and face you guys for the next match? 그러면은 뉴욕과 아틀란타 둘 중에 누가 이겨서 항저우 스파크와 경기를 하실 거라고 생각하십니까?
제 생각에는 그래도 전에 같이 팀했던 어스터보다는 만호 형이 더 좋아서 만호 형이 뉴욕을 더 응원하겠습니다.
In my personal opinion, my fellow friend, my used to be teammate Erster, I don't think Erster is gonna take it. I think Mono's a better player than Erster. So I feel like NYXL is going to win. Alrighty, IDK, thank you so much. Now let's move on to our special jersey giving away time, signed by one and only IDK. Hi! 안녕하세요. Congratulations, yeah, everybody, round of applause. Hug. Thank you guys so much. Casters, back to you guys.
Thank you, Danny. And to be fair, IDK wasn't technically correct because if you go way back to the community countdown, Seoul Dynasty did beat them in that match in Mystery Heroes. But, a win is a win. That's right.
Seoul Dynasty can beat the Spark at
That's
Mystery
right.
Heroes.
When nobody knows what heroes anyone would play, they do great. So the Spark will move on, and we'll see who they end up playing next. But yeah, 4-1 victory for the Hangzhou Spark. Staying alive so far in the losers bracket.
Yeah, and that match won't happen until next Thursday, so they have some time to evaluate their opponents, refine things, scrim a little bit more. Seoul Dynasty's season as the 8th seed, unfortunately, will end here tonight.
That's right, and now we're going to send it back over to Danny, who's standing by with Jae Hong to get some thoughts on Seoul's last match of the season.
Thanks, guys, everybody. Let's give a big round of applause for Seoul Dynasty and Ryu Jae-young. Amazing job. It's unfortunate that you guys did lose, but I feel like Seoul Dynasty has improved significantly since last year, and you guys did make it into the playoffs as well. So I'm actually just going to give you this time to say anything that you want to say to either fans or anyone that you want to talk to. 일단 오늘 너무나 아쉽게 되긴 했지만은 또 제가 봤을 땐 서울 다이너스티가 너무나도 이번 시즌 너무 잘 했고 많이 아쉽긴 한 것 같아요. 재홍 선수 팬분들과 또 서울 다이너스티를 좋아해 주시는 많은 분들께 한마디 부탁드릴게요.
죄송합니다. 일단 저희 저희 서울 다이너스티를 응원해 주신 분들한테 정말 죄송하다고 말씀드리고 싶고, 저희가 시즌 2 때는 정말 열심히 노력했고 열심히 정말 모든 걸 바뀔 수 있는 모습을 보여드리고 싶었지만 실망만 안겨드려서 죄송합니다. 그래도 다음 시즌에는 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 저희 팀원들 모두 열심히 하고 더욱더 노력할 테니 잘 지켜봐 주세요. 저희 응원해 주셔서 감사합니다. 죄송합니다.
To all the Seoul fans, I am deeply sorry that we couldn't win today's match. We really, throughout the whole season, we really tried to improve ourselves, improve our gameplay, and everything that we could do to go higher up into the playoffs and win everything, but we unfortunately fell short and we couldn't do that. So I deeply, deeply apologize to all of our fans. But we will try even harder for next season to bring you guys more wins, better looking team overall for Seoul Dynasty. Thank you guys so much. And again, I am so sorry. Let's do one more. We also have Toby standing right here. I feel like Toby has a lot to say as well. 자, 토비 선수도 짧게 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요. And I am going to give you the mic as well.
네, 정말 열심히 준비했는데 결과가 너무 아쉽고 항상 응원해주신 팬분들께 정말 죄송하고요. 다음에 또 기회가 찾아온다면 정말 기회 놓치지 않고 정말 열심히 잘해서 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 열심히 노력한 선수가 되겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Again, we really prepared a lot for today's match, but we really couldn't show everything that we have prepared. So I do deeply apologize for our fans. If the opportunity arises again for next year, we will definitely practice harder and to just bring better results for Seoul Dynasty and a result that the fans could be proud of. And I am so sorry, and thank you guys so much. Everybody, again, please, big round of applause for Seoul Dynasty. Thank you guys so much. Casters, take it away.
Thank you, Danny. And those two players in front of you right there are two of the legends of Overwatch. You have to realize this support duo has been going for 3-4 years now, and there are very few competitors in this game that are as good and as dedicated as those guys. You can see in their faces. You can see it with the emotion too. And you and I have watched them for so long, and
Yeah, and it's hard because coming into the Overwatch League, they were part of the Lunatic High team that was incredibly dominant in the early eras of Apex, multi-time champions.
Yeah.
And, you know, Seoul Dynasty, they have struggled ever since the Overwatch League began. And even though they did have a much better performance this year, I think, compared to last year, it's very hard when you have been on top of the podium many times to come back and have these struggles.
well, that's the thing too. And you think, you know, being on top of that podium is the end, right? It's like, oh, there, we won a tournament. You know, that's it. Not if you're a real competitor. Not if you're Toby. Not if you're Jaehong. Then you just keep winning until you physically can't do it anymore. And Seoul Dynasty, no doubt, a much better season this year than we saw to them last year. Yeah, they're out in the losers finals, and that's rough. But great competitors, and I'm sure we're going to see them come back and do great stuff next year too.
Yeah.
So it's tough because I love both those guys. They're two of my favorites. That's tough to watch.
I mean, they're definitely some of the all-time legends we have in Overwatch.
That's right. Well, welcome to our ESPN audience as well. At a very, very emotional moment here in the Overwatch League here. But we're going to get a lot of that, honestly, because we're into the playoffs now. And, you know, anyone who you know, kind of poo-poos esports is not a serious competition, well, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. That's just how it is, right?
These guys, you can see how much emotion comes out because of how much they're pouring into this season. And being a pro player is incredibly difficult. It's an 80, 90-hour-a-week job where the level of focus and dedication is enormous. And what's so difficult is even if you put all that time in, even if you put all that energy in, you know, you could still end up washing out of the playoff.
Hey man, that's sports, that's competition, right? So again, if you're just joining us, it was an emotional interview with the loser of our last match, Seoul Dynasty, eliminated from the Overwatch League for 2019. But we got to move on. We got to crown our player of the match, brought to you by Omen. We'll see if it is on the Spark side. And today, it is the one, the only Bezzy, the Doomfist extraordinaire. The amount of picks that this guy got, the amount of kills, the go-ahead wins for his team in teamfights was really something else.
I'm really impressed with Bezzy's Doomfist mechanics because he seems to have a very good understanding of hitboxes on the enemy team, and he sort of nicks you on these little corners or sets up angles where he gets kills that I didn't know you could get sometimes with Doomfist. So.
That's the thing, and he just kept it. See, not only did he kind of deny a lot of the engages from Fitz on the Seoul Dynasty side, but he really found a lot of angles that I think Seoul was kind of not expecting him to come from. And he did it over and over and over again, as you can see. And 20 Meteor Strike kills, too.
Only dying 31 times across 5 maps is pretty impressive also. So his survivability way up there, getting a lot of the opening pickoffs that gave his team a 6 versus 5 advantage. And it led to a fairly dominating win, especially as the match dragged on. It just seemed to get more and more one-sided the later into the match we got.
Pretty amazing stuff. Well, don't go anywhere, guys. And we're going to have to say goodbye to our Disney XD audience for now. But everybody else, stick around, because guess what? We have a team we never thought we would see in the lower bracket in the San Francisco Shock. They're fighting for survival against the defending champions of the Overwatch League, the London Spitfire. This is going to be an absolutely insane series, so do not go anywhere. That match coming at you right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
And by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah, man, I think I'm set.
Big day today, man?
Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.